Welcome to Season 5 of the Neurodiverse Voices podcast, the podcast that gives a voice to the neurodivergent community. My name is Andreiais Costa, and I am your host. I am also the mum to a beautiful 9-year-old autistic daughter, and she is my world. At the age of 42, I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and through my lived experience, I've developed a deep passion for all things neurodiversity. My daughter gave me purpose. My neurodivergence keeps the passion alive. By sharing my journey, I hope to help others feeling seen, understood, and less alone. Through conversations with guests from a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives, my aim is to challenge assumptions, spark curiosity, and enlighten all kinds of minds. This season brings another incredible lineup of guests, from comedians and writers to alternative provision leads, therapists, parent advocates, and researchers from the University of Oxford. Every guest has an inspiring journey and a powerful story to share. This is a space for honesty, connection, and celebration, where difference is not just accepted, but valued. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Season 5 of the Neurodiverse Voices podcast. I'm quite emotional today because I always say this, every single guest of mine is special, but this one is even more because she's also a friend. She has lived experience of ADHD and she's a parent of 3 neurodivergent children, but on the top of all of that, she's also the founder of SENtipede and a very cherished member of the neurodivergent community here in Oxfordshire. Welcome to the Neurodiverse Voices podcast. Once again, Leandra.
Thank you. Well, what introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me back again.
It's great to have you back. I'm very excited to share the updates. It's been, I think, 2 years now, or almost 2 years since I interviewed you. You were one of my first guests.
Wow. Lots has happened, and
exactly.
But at the same time has flown by. So
yeah, it's a mixed feeling, isn't it? It feels like it was yesterday, but it feels like ages ago too. Yeah. So I'm very happy to have you here and to have you back. Okay, so to give some context to the audience, and those of you who don't know you, although I'm pretty sure people do, because we collaborate a lot and we, through each other's social media, we do a lot of things together. But can we start with you telling us a bit more about yourself and your family? So you're a mom of 3 neurodivergent boys, so you're a warrior. And what does neurodiversity? Definitely. So what does neurodiversity mean to you personally?
So family of 3 boys, and my husband as well, and dogs are very chaotic here, but like I said, chaotic and full of neurospicy people. So to me, it really means that we all think differently, but we're all unique, and we just embrace each other and try and learn as much about each other, whatever that might be, triggers, glimmers, and just kind of building our knowledge amongst ourselves and the greater community.
Yeah, being curious about each other.
Exactly.
That's very important. And that's definitely the way to go. And the chaos is kind of part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no boring day here.
Yeah.
There's a very good example as one of my boys hasn't gone into school, and as you know, prior to this, we've been trying to tempt him to go in, but no success yet. So do, watch out for maybe a sneak peek of someone leering through the door.
we can talk about Minecraft with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I mentioned that you've been a guest on the very first season of the Neurodiverse Voices podcast, and we also said that a lot has happened since then. So can you tell us a bit more about how the journey began? And looking back, were there any early signs or moments that stood out for you?
Well, for us, the journey officially started back in the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020 when Josh received his diagnoses of autism and ADHD. And then we had lockdown and it was just chaotic. And we were in a bit of a bad place. And so the boys were able to actually attend school during lockdown, thankfully. But that still didn't help with the pressures of, having to do school drop-offs and all that kind of thing. So that affected my mental health anyway. And yeah, but looking back, I would say my mum noticed firstly with Joshua when he was quite young, but I dismissed it as you do. You just kind of like, what? I don't know what you mean, that kind of thing. And then about 4 years old, when the twins came along, I would say that was the moment Josh switched for me. Like I could tell that this was a different person here almost. And that's when I started really thinking about what my mum had said, and that was in the back of my head. And so questioning professionals in these settings. But of course I was getting the usual, no, he's just a boy, or, we can't tell, he's still kind of at his learning curve. And, so of course you doubt yourself, but it's always there in the back of your mind. So I was kind of monitoring things and just kind of throwing things out there from time to time until someone else noticed at school. And that's when we're like both, ta-da, here we are. But that took until he was about year 2 for that to officially kind of come out where everyone could see what I was seeing.
Yeah, and when the twins came and started growing up, so you mentioned there was the turning point, one of the important moments when you realized that Joshua would be neurodivergent. What did you notice on them as well? Well,
from the moment they were born, if I'm honest, we could tell how busy they were, and we didn't know if that was just because they were multiples and there were 2 of them and it just felt intense. But we had the constant sort of busyness and the fidgeting and the sensitivities, so not wanting to settle, or just everything just seemed to be like, wow. So from the get-go, I would say I was watching them a bit like a hawk. And by the time they reached nursery, I was pretty convinced, and so was Christian, if I'm honest. And nursery picked up pretty quickly. And when I got the call from nursery, I was like, it's not a surprise. And they were like, oh, thank goodness, that makes the call a little bit easier. But it was nice that they acknowledged it so early on.
Yeah. And you mentioned that, when you started suspecting about Josh's, or when your mum kind of gave you the hint that, not only you, but other people would tell you that, he's just, it's just a boy, it's just a child. What were the misconceptions and assumptions that you had about neurodivergence before becoming a parent? Well,
we had experience of autism in the family and other sort of mental health issues amongst other family members, but it wasn't really something I was aware of properly, if you know what I mean. Even though it was there, it wasn't really, I don't know, it almost like it's something only existed as soon as it hit my family and more closely. And so I didn't know a lot about it. And at first, when my mum did say about Josh, I was thinking, oh, well, maybe she's just seeing my nephew and Josh, and now she's just thinking everybody's autistic. I did. I was just like, oh, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But then I did start taking notice, and then I was like, actually she's right, and she's not just trying to find it. It's there. But then the hard part was for me to convince everyone else, that what my mum and I were seeing actually was there, and we were not kind of just trying to look for it. And even now, we're how many years in now? 7? Yeah, 7 years in. It's still quite hard to evidence it, especially with Josh, with his profile. I would say that twins are quite elaborate, very energetic, boisterous, can be quite, aggressive at times. So they've got that physical sort of evidence, really, that people can see. Whereas Josh is more sort of on the anxiety side, doesn't like people that don't follow the rules and things like that. So they just see a quiet boy who really is so good, and academically he's bright, and really what's the problem? But at home we struggle with the dynamics. Going out we struggle, eating we struggle. There's so much more to it. But how do I show people what it's really like and what he's struggling with? And I think
it shouldn't be so hard to have to prove something. And if you think about it, it's one of the things that frustrates me a lot, and I'm pretty sure it's the same with you. No parent, I think, would want to have a child with needs, right? So
why would I make this up? And it, why would I want to make my life extra hard by fighting for things and trying to prove things? But it's there. All I'm asking for really is help. And I just don't understand why people are so anti listening to parents. We have concerns. We coming out of our comfort zone and approaching, asking for help. I mean, that's something that me as a person, my pride, with, when it's finance, whatever it is, I don't like to ask for help. So when I'm asking, I'm already desperate, so don't make me sound crazy or make me doubt myself, because I already have those issues myself. I lack confidence, and I do criticize myself a lot. And I think about these things over and over again so many times. Surely by the time I get to you, I've kind of made the decision that, what I believe is correct. So, I think all I'm asking for is for someone to listen and just give us what we need to thrive. Sorry, that got a little bit intense there.
No. That's the reality of many parents, isn't it? And it's very sad to see. But hopefully things will change soon. And so, raising one neurodivergent child is challenging. I do have that experience, and it can be very intense. So, you kind of shared a little bit of this already, but how has it been like navigating the journey with 3?
Relentless is the word I use quite a lot. And not because of the boys necessarily. Yes, some days you just think, oh my goodness, I can't do this. But I think it's the fight with everyone else and everything else that makes you so exhausted, and takes so long that you get to the point where things escalate, and they probably wouldn't have got as bad if you just nipped it in the bud early on. So we have reached crisis at points. Recently, it was last year actually, and I've had to give up my job for the second time. So I've gone from full-time to part-time to now nothing, because I now have Joshua at home with school avoidance, and I had the twins close to exclusion, on a part-time table, attending very little alternate provision. And now in a specialist, thank goodness, which I cannot tell you how thankful I am that they finally saw what we needed. And it makes me feel so good to see that what I've been asking for was right all along, and we're now starting to see the benefits. Admittedly, obviously, with Joshua still at home, we are seeing still some negatives, and it is still impacting the boys. Like I said, Jamie's here today, and I think some of it can be because Joshua's at home, therefore they know we're at home. But it's in such a much better place than we were this time last year, and all I'm asking for is the same for Joshua. But like as I keep saying, Joshua is so hard to sort of evidence. He's actually being punished for wanting an education and being good and academically able, and it's almost all of those things are going against him, when in fact all he's asking for is a small environment where he can regulate himself. I don't think it's asking for a lot. So that's why I'm fighting for it, because I think they are just, unfortunately, looking at a piece of paper and not really getting to know my son. So,
and that's often the case, isn't it? I think that's, I understand that it would be very difficult to, to have consultations and interviews with every single family and with every single child. But that would probably show them more than a piece of paper, for sure.
Yeah, even if like the SEN officers got to meet your child just once, so they actually knew who you were talking about. I mean, I don't think Joshua's SEN officer knows who he is. If you walked past her in the corridor somewhere, she wouldn't know who he was. So how can she judge that on a piece of paper? But I'm sure that's everybody has the same issues, and I just don't understand why it's not something that's improved and considered. But I guess it all goes down to resources and costings, as does everything. So.
Yeah. For me, it's similar, even though, luckily Melody is happy to go to school because she has the support that she needs there.
Yeah.
However, it's not the right place for her, but because she goes happily to school, it's fine. She can wait. And it's been, I think we are going on to the third year now of waiting. But yeah, so I do resonate a bit, even though different, I think
everybody's journey is different,
out of school,
but they're all valid. That's the point. I think a lot of us put ourselves down and think, oh, there's always someone worse, which yes, there is, but you living your journey, and it's all valid. So what you're going through is what you're going through. So never kind of put your situation underneath anyone else's. We're all going through the same kind of thing. So
yeah, absolutely. And what do you wish professionals or systems understood better about families like yours? So you just shared one example that they should meet the child as opposed to looking at a piece of paper. But
exactly. But I think the main thing is what we alluded to earlier. Really, is we don't want to complicate things. We're just asking for what we feel our children need. So to be taken more seriously, and for these kind of situations to be considered, so the resources are there, so we're not having to fight for it. I don't understand why we need to fight for it if education is something we are all entitled to, and then we're being offered places that aren't suitable. We're just going to be going round in circles, which is basically what I'm doing with Joshua, unfortunately. We've been to tribunal, we've been to mainstream, even though I said specialist was appropriate. We're now out of school. We've now got agreement on specialist, but now we're not agreeing on the settings. So I feel like saying, I told you so. It sounds horrible, but I really do feel like just saying, I told you so. I've proved it. Like, why are you still not listening? So that's where my frustration lies, is, just listen to us parents. We've got the insight knowledge. We've got the lived experience. We're telling you what they need. We just need you to be able to place them there. that is it. And then everything else will go away, hopefully. In the meantime, it's creating a crisis. Everyone else's mental health is being affected, unable to work, claiming benefit. It just spirals. It's just mind-boggling how it's not been resolved yet. But here we are.
Yeah, after many, many years, because this is our journey started, 7 years ago, but we know that this has been going on for a lot longer. Speaking with parents with older children,
exactly. And looking through some of the courses that I've kind of put myself on and tried to, improve my knowledge and stuff. I've looked through SEN history. Especially in the education side. And what I've noticed is that we're just going through endless cycles. So we're just repeating history. Mm-hmm. So we're starting off with being separated and having specialists for one sort of need. And then it's building on that. And then it's institutionalized. And then it's trying to bring everybody back together. And then we're separating. And we just keep seeming to go around in loops. And I do wonder when we'll have a new idea or when maybe a neurodivergent gets in charge and can actually think outside the box and get it into motion, because we're just repeating history, essentially. We're going round and round circles.
And not making any progress, which is very sad. Okay, so in the middle of all of this, all the fights, all the challenges, I'm sure, and I know this for a fact with us being friends, that you still appreciate the journey, but you still found the strength and to create SENtipede, which is something I'm always in awe of you. And it has become a very important space for sharing lived experience. So I'm guessing that, your own lived experience has inspired you for this, for you to create SENtipede. But how has sharing your story publicly impacted you, and, both positively and also in more challenging ways?
Well, for me, yes. So it started off with my lived experience and feeling that overwhelm and isolation. And I decided, let's share the knowledge, why not? And that's kind of where SENtipede grew from. So essentially it's a page where I share our stories, but also everyone else's sort of stories and knowledge and events and, whatever's out there. Because let's be fair, it's a minefield. So having a place where you can just go to and think, okay, that's a good idea. I'll try that out. So essentially that's what I am. I'm like a resource space. But I find it really rewarding, and I don't know. It's almost changed me, but for the good. It's created this other version of Leandra. Like, who is Leandra? Mm-hmm. Well, Leandra used to be a little shy girl, someone who's always been very self-aware and scared to try things and change and just kind of there but not there. So had friendship groups, but I was never the main character, or I was never sort of the one going out. I was always in the background. And here I am, sort of in my 40s, now talking, in front of people and professionals, and kind of putting my thoughts out there and being raw, really, and hoping that people understand my perspective. Thankfully, so far, it's been a positive sort of understanding. I'm sure I'm going to come across people that don't have the same thoughts, and that's okay. But I think where I need to learn to develop is that other strength of accepting criticism and not overthinking it, because I know it's going to happen, and how I'm going to deal with that. So I am anticipating some negativity, and I just hope with my strength I can continue to do it and not give up, and just be just more confident in everything, and live up to my name's meaning. So I shared a presentation with you, as you know, with the Neurodiversity Celebration Day, and we had to share about ourselves, and I thought it would be good to tell everybody what my name meant. And I looked up, and it means lioness. And looking back, I was never a lioness, but now I'm fighting. I'm getting that strength, and I think it's thanks to my children, and unfortunately the resilience I've had to build from the process. So in a way, the negatives have made a positive. I just hope that, I can continue with that strength, and my stubbornness obviously helps. And I don't know if that's the Italian blood in me or if that's the ADHD, but here we are. Hopefully we can continue.
It might be both.
Okay, yeah, well, what a mix.
Yes.
What a mix. So, yeah.
Yeah, but you should be absolutely proud of yourself. And I think I can say this on behalf of the local community, that we are very grateful to for SENtipede and to have you, because you are always there for us when we need you. So thank you.
Thank you. That's the other thing I don't do.
Receiving praise, isn't it? It's but you should. Sometimes it's difficult to believe in ourselves, isn't it? When people praise us, but you should for sure.
Thanks.
So you run coffee mornings. Why do you feel like peer support spaces like these are important?
Personally, I think because, firstly, you don't know where to start. You really don't. So the best place to start is in a group where others are going through the same thing, and there's that real empathy and validation from everybody, and you can sit there and offload, and they get it. And even if they don't know the answers, they can sit there and join you in whatever state you're in, and kind of understand. But hopefully there's someone in that group that has been through it, unfortunately, and learned something along the way that can be that tip that helps you to get through to where you need to be. And of course there's signposting and stuff, so you end up being able to advocate eventually for yourself and your children. But I think the best place to start is with others around you and building a little community, because it's a very lonely place to be. And I'm still so thankful for my little SENtipede coffee mornings on a Wednesday. The people that are there are genuinely people that have been there from the beginning, and I can contact them whenever. We have a little WhatsApp group and we talk daily, and it's about everything and anything. Doesn't have to even be about our children. It can be other life issues or even positive. So, it's not always negative.
Yeah.
And share just anything on there. And it's just nice. It really is, especially when you're someone who's shy and never really had a big circle of friends. It's nice to know that those people get you, and that actually are probably the most important people in your life right now. So, yeah, I think it's really important.
Yeah. And so in case the audience would like to join, so you run the SENtipede Coffee Mornings, but then you also run another one in collaboration with the Oxford Hub. Do you want to share where people can go, where they can find out future dates?
Yeah, sure. So the Kidlington one, that's just myself and then my lovely group who joins me weekly on a Wednesday. And that's at Stanley's Sweets and Treats in Kidlington. And that's 9:30 to 11:30 term time. So that tends to be more of a relaxed sort of chat. We just kind of go with the flow, whatever sort of going on, we kind of just evolve from there. And then the one that I collaborate with, the Oxford Hub, is in Cowley at the Jungle. And that takes place every fortnight. We are changing a bit how we're running it this year. Previously, we used to have a guest speaker every fortnight. However, that can be quite intense, and it doesn't really give us a chance to speak as a little community. So where we've built a nice little group again, we felt that this year we're going to have the first sort of session of the month as a catch up, and let's offload and see what you guys want to know about, or is it just that you need a hug, that kind of thing. And then the following session would be with the guest speaker, and hopefully in previous sessions we'll find out from you like what topics really need talking about. So the idea is that we are getting to know the professionals. We are starting to hear the right information, because the worst thing is to have these groups, but the wrong information to be spread around. So the idea is that we're building our knowledge with the right people, knowing what services are available, and what we can access. So yeah, generally the way to find me is on Facebook. That's where I live. It's my SENtipede page. Everything's on there. I do share a lot, so scrolling can be a bit of a nightmare. I am on other platforms, but I'm only very new to it. I'm trying to sort of get with it, but yeah, I'm not very sort of into technology, so I would say, yeah, Facebook's the safest bet.
Yeah, well, for someone who is not very good with technology, you do a very good job on Facebook. But yeah, there's also the page on Instagram, and I think you've just recently created a page on LinkedIn, if I'm...
Yeah, I have, but like I said, it's very new, very basic. I haven't actually done much with it. It's just so that I'm there, but I'm not there yet. So yeah, hopefully that's something
that's okay. Well, we can all give you a follow and watch you developing. Yeah. I'll link. I'll put all the links in the episode description anyway for everyone to be able to follow you. Yeah, watch this space. Okay, and in terms, still speaking about parents and advice and reassurance for parents or carers who are earlier in their journey and may feel overwhelmed and isolated, what would you want them to hear?
That we're all doing things differently, and that's okay. Listen to your gut. It's normally right, and keep going, stay strong, stay firm, and I believe you will get there as long as you believe in what you know is right for you and your child. So just listen to your gut.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And what has been one small thing that made a big difference for your family?
For us, it was the changing the way we do things. So going against the social norms, and that is hard, and I still find it hard. And as a family, we do find it hard, but we try to do things that work for us now, and it's taken years of practice. We've gone from trying to fit in with everything, being overwhelmed. We've tried doing everything Sen, being overwhelmed. We've tried to do nothing, but then we go the other extreme and we need, stimulation. And, so now it's kind of somewhere simmering low demand. And that seems to work for the majority of the time. Obviously, it's not perfect. And we do have to, throw the odd thing in here and there. But yeah, I think for us, it's changing our mindset and just kind of going with what works for us.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trial and error.
Yeah, and it's always going to evolve, and you're going to make mistakes along the way, and that's okay. You learn from that. Maybe it will work again later down the line, maybe not just right now. So keep it there on the side somewhere. But I think you get to know what works for everybody and what doesn't. Even with the different dynamics in our house, Josh, I would say, doesn't like the loud busyness, whereas the twins love it. So we have to find that sort of medium, or even separate ourselves at times. So yeah, it's just doing whatever we need to do.
Works well for you.
Yeah.
And looking ahead, what are your hopes for your children when they grow older?
Just to be able to advocate for themselves, but more in a more natural way. So it comes literally naturally to them because they've seen me do it for them. And as I'm doing it, I'm hoping they are secretly storing all that information and kind of using it to their advantage. And I hope that I can continue to just give them that confidence, and just be their authentic selves, and that people like them for who they are. But that's all I'm asking for. Happy, healthy, and thriving.
Yeah, I'm sure they are noticing all of it. Sometimes we think that they aren't, and
yeah, sometimes they come out with things and you think, oh, so you do listen. So yeah.
They just don't when we want them to listen. They don't.
Yeah, they're good at that. But,
yeah. And in terms of the neurodivergent community more broadly, what are your hopes for the future?
I think that we finally actually start seeing a change. I mean, I have seen a change as I've been going through the journey, and people are advocating more, and we are starting to make a change, but it's so small compared to where we could be. So yeah, my aim is just to see this sudden spark with, I don't know, with everything, just acceptance of any difference, and every sort of making everything accessible so that it's just the norm. That's all we ask for.
And not the exception, because at the moment it's still
very much
the exception, isn't it?
Yeah. It's an everyday life where we don't have to essentially have these conversations.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll miss it. But,
yeah. Well, I hope we continue having these conversations anyway. But
but in a more positive way.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay. And now moving on to the inner journey. Who is your biggest support on your journey?
I would say everyone. I've been very lucky. I've kind of had very positive people around me. And I don't know if that's because I've managed it somehow, or if I just attract the right people, or that I push the negative ones away. I don't know. But I've been really lucky, and I think pretty much everyone around me has supported me some way or another. Obviously my family, but they are very small. And then my community that, I've built. So people like yourselves, people attending the coffee mornings, all of them become my little sort of support network. So yeah, I'm very grateful.
Yeah. And so are we, as I said earlier. And how do you treat yourself with regards to your well-being?
Yeah. That one's a hard one. That one is something I've put on hold for a long, long time. My 2026, it's not a resolution, it's just what I want to do, is to start focusing a little bit more on me. Now that the twins are more settled, and I'm hoping Joshua gets more settled, that can leave me some space to actually focus on myself, whether that be me physically, emotionally, and a SENtipede. I want to be able to just use this year to start giving myself some grace, and take away some of that guilt that I have. Every time I go out, I feel guilty because my husband's at home looking after the kids, and he's not out, so I need to get over that. It's easy once I'm out, but it's that, the lead up to it. Like, do I say yes to this invitation? And I must say I enjoy the social aspect. So yeah, it's just trying to find that balance. I don't know if we ever do find that balance, but that's what my aim is, to start focusing a little bit more. And I did so by joining sort of the counselling sessions last year, and I think that has really helped. I do want to sort of push that out there, and I know there's still a stigma around that, but for me personally, it really has helped. So yeah, literally, I haven't given myself more self-care, but I'm working on it, and I think that's one of the biggest battles we all face is where, how, why. How can we do it?
And finding the time, and then sometimes you're not predisposed to do it. And it's very easy when you have busy lives and you have big family like yours to just to leave ourselves to second plan. But you know, you've been having the counseling sessions, you are conscious about it and you are doing small changes. And I also think there's a bit of a misconception that, doing things for your well-being needs to be, going to the gym or go for walks or, I find that the Neurodiverse Voices project for me helps me with my well-being because it's a passion. So SENtipede is
my
also
therapy.
part of exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but I do want to try and find who like Leandra is and not just live Sen all the time, because you can get sucked into it quite a lot, which I don't mind because I love it and it's clearly my sort of passion. But I do want to rediscover who I am, because I don't think I ever have known who I am. And so now is my chance to kind of almost reinvent myself. Well, is it reinventing or is it just discovering who I actually am? I don't know. Whatever it is,
I don't think you need reinventing. We love you as you are. It's more about, I think, the self-discovery journey.
So that's where I'm at. And I don't know what that looks like, but that's what it's all about this year for me.
Yeah. Good. And who is your biggest inspiration?
I'm going to say my mum, because besides her being the one who first noticed neurodivergence in our family, she's one tough person. I've never come across anyone like her. I'm not saying it's a good thing to always be strong, because, you can have wobbles and accept help. But no matter what life has thrown at her, she's just dealt with it. And, she's had some pretty awful experiences. I won't even go into them, but I've never seen her wobble. I don't know how she does it. I mean, I'm on antidepressants. She's not on antidepressants. How? How has she not gone? I'm just amazed. Like, how have you got through life? She's, in her 60s. I won't give the exact number away. So she's a young mum. But she just gets things done.
I think it's a generational thing, isn't it? Because it's the same in my family.
Strong stuff.
So we were born 20 years too late. I think.
Clearly, I've still got a bit of that stubbornness, but it's not quite as strong. So yeah, I would say my mum.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to remember our first interview, and I think you because I already had this set of questions back then, and I think you said your mom at the time as well.
So I don't have like celebrity people or anyone like that look to. I mean, obviously I love what everybody does in our community, like yourselves and Lorraine and everybody. I'm not going to name drop everyone. But yeah, the person that's been there from the start has been my mum, and like I said, she's never wobbled. So yeah, I've got to give her some credit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And if you were a superhero or a superpower, who or what would that be, and how would you use it to make the world a better place for the neurodivergent community?
Well, I don't think about this. I was like, well, I don't know about superpowers. And I did mention a superpower before. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I'm going to be a thing. I'm going to be this new send system. I'm going to be the new process and system that looks after everybody and make sure it actually works. That would be my superpower. If I could have anything, it would be fixing whatever is broken and getting everybody on the right track, because this can't go on any longer. So yeah, that's me. I'm going to be Sen system.
Super Sen. I think that's a good. There you go. That would be a good superhero.
Not Captain Underpants, just Super Sen.
That's brilliant. Very, very good answer. And I know you love music, and I think we also talked about music in our first interview.
Yeah.
And there's this new question that I introduced about a song that captures your journey, either as a parent or as being, neurodivergent yourself. And it can be more than one, because I know it's quite difficult to sum up your whole life in one song. But is there one or two?
I did.
Resonate? I did.
So I thought the whole sort of journey has been obviously like a jungle. It's been, all about sort of finding that fierce inner sort of person, and my name being Lioness. So I thought Raw by Katy Perry.
Yeah.
So that's what I've gone with. I finally found my inner voice, and I can just roar, but without, ruffling too many feathers. Hopefully, I do it in a way that people don't have a dartboard throwing darts at my face every day, like that they might be doing in the Oxfordshire County Council at times when I'm emailing every 5 minutes. But I think that sums us up pretty well. It's just raw. Just be out there and make
it's a nice song as well. Yeah, that's a very nice song. Okay, and if you had the chance to go back in time, what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell her that I'm proud of her, and I'm proud of me. So proud of old Leandra, but of new Leandra too.
Yeah, good. And finally, if your heart had a voice, what would it tell us? I know it's a difficult one.
I think the same thing. Just, to be proud and just to be happy with what you've achieved, where you come from. So, start accepting that praise and well done.
Yeah, and believe in yourself. Believe that the process is there for a reason, even though it might be challenging.
So, that's it.
Great. Okay, so that's the end of the interview. It was a great pleasure to have you again and to hear all your updates and to see you a lot more confident as well. I'm looking forward to continue our collaborations and our friendship and do a lot more in the future.
Yeah, we got lots of ideas, and I know you've got so many. So I'm sure we won't be bored.
No, definitely not. It's when you put two ADHD brains together. Well, three with Donna, because we do these together. Then only good things can come out of it.
Who knows what might come out of it? But the main thing is we've done the interview, we finished it, and no one has popped in. So I'm going to go with that as being a huge win. I don't think he's gone to school, but at least it's peaceful.
Yeah. Great. And it was great to interview him as a test this morning anyway. So it was quite fun.
Yeah, it wasn't much
Thank you so much, Leandra.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrea. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you for listening or watching the Neurodiverse Voices podcast. If today's conversation resonated with you, please know that you are not alone. Your experience matters, your voice matters, and your way of being in the world is valid. I'm Andrea Costa, and this podcast exists to celebrate neurodivergent lives in all their complexity, strength, and individuality. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it, and help these stories reach the people who may need them the most. Join me again next time for more honest conversations, powerful stories, and diverse perspectives, because every neurodivergent journey is different. And remember, when you meet one neurodivergent person, you've only met one neurodivergent person. Until next time, take care. Bye.